Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're reacting to the story animation. Let's get it. This is True Time Stories.
Woke up with a start as my stepmom stood over me, barking the list of chores she needed me to do today. But I just stared over her shoulder at a picture of my dad. Stepmom hadn't been so bad while Dad was around, but after he was gone, she became the stuff of every nightmare. The next day, she came into my room and tossed a pile of pretty dresses on my bed. I was psyched. She hadn't bought me new clothes in years. I thanked her, but she laughed loudly. Are you crazy? These aren't for you. I want you to take my dresses to the dry cleaners. You can have these. My heart sank. All of my clothes were already old and worn out, and the kids at school made fun of me. She said, "You should be grateful I let you go to that fancy private school. That should be enough for you." Only because of Dad's will. Later, as I handed the clothes to the dry cleaner, I handed him a $10 bill and winked. "Julia, you're such an idiot." She walked into my room carrying her dress, which had huge pink spots on
Hey look, she's so mad at you and you're still doing her chores, my nigga. Said we do her chores.
all over it. She kept screaming about how useless I was for 10 minutes, but it was totally worth it. Life was hard with such a witch, but at least I had Sean. Later that evening, he took me to his friend's party. A lot of those snooty kids from school were there. I just knew they were talking about me. Feeling awkward, I told Sean that I was going to go touch up my makeup. When I came back, I nearly passed out. Sean was kissing another girl. I walked over to them and pulled the girl away from him, but the moment I saw her face, I was stunned. This girl looked exactly like me. Sean looked at the two of us in shock. What the hell? We just stood there, staring at each other. Who are you? The girl touched the neck.
Hey look, we call it, what is called that person look just for you. A clown?
Dress like it?
No, that just look like everything like you.
Doppelganger?
Like everything like you, like, no, a twin on that. It's called a clone. Not a clone, a clone.
Okay,
A
cool.
clone. You have a clone, girl.
Necklace I was wearing. Where did you get this? Seriously? That's what she wants to know? My dad gave it to me. She laughed. Julia? Who was she, and how did she know my name? I'm Suzanne. Didn't Dad ever tell you about me? I'm your twin. I stepped back, looking at her in disbelief. I don't.
Twin that have your education when your mom and your father break up and your father take you and your mother take your next sister.
Have a sister, let alone a twin. She pulled down her shirt and I gasped. She was wearing the exact same necklace as me. When our parents divorced, we were separated. My mom told me that
See?
she left you with Dad and took me with her. My
Oh.
head was spinning. I
Oh,
had a
see that
chance
is
to
same
meet
try
my
say.
mom? When can I see her? She's probably out dating some loser again. We went to her boyfriend's apartment. I needed to know everything. The tiny studio apartment seemed quite nice. Well, until my eyes landed on the sleazy guy sitting in the corner. Yo, twins. I'm Emmett. Suzanne said he was her boyfriend and how awesome it was to date a college guy. I looked at her boyfriend. If Mom was out dating losers, well, like mother, like daughter. She told me how Mom would just come and go all the time, depending on whether she.
Now he is living in a more bad condition than you because you wear clean clothes but you had them for years. But he like he didn't take a shower in years.
Had a job or a man. All the guys she dated were losers, but Mom didn't care as long as they bought her pretty things.
And
I
had
was
money.
shook by everything I'd found out today. When we got home,
A gold digger. Your mom is a gold digger, girl.
my stepmom was having a dinner party with her friends. I grabbed Sean's arm and tried to sneak past everyone. As soon as she saw us, she started yelling in front of her friends. How dare you bring a boy home? Sneaking him into your room, were you? Shameless. Look at this little flirt. Even I don't bring men home. Sean ran out as fast as he could. A few days later, Suzanne
Get
called
out of
me.
there.
Mom wants to meet you. I'd heard all these weird things about her from Suzanne, but I was still so excited. This was the first time I was going to meet my real mom. Whoa. Mom wasn't at all what I was expecting. She walked over to me and eyed me up and down. Why was she dressed like that? Hey, Julia, you could really use a makeover. What? No hugs? No, I missed you? So, where have you been this whole time? I've enough money to raise one of you. And honey, it wasn't easy at all. This was not the reunion I had imagined. I needed to get some air. I ran down the stairs only to bump into Emmett. He blocked my way. "You hurtin', baby girl? Let me take care of you." He leaned in to kiss me. I thought I'd pass out because of his bad breath. "I'll give you $10 if you get away from me." He stepped back and held out his hand. Disgusted, I handed him a note from my wallet and walked past him. What a creep. A couple of days later, I came home from school to find my stepmom talking to someone. "It's been a long time, but I need you now." As soon as she noticed me walk in, she hung up and turned around. I had almost forgotten what her face looked like when she smiled. "Let's order some pizza today, darling." Darling? Was my stepmom dying? Was she finally gonna poison me with my favorite food? No, thanks. Not really hungry. I walked to my room in a daze. The next few days were crazy. My stepmom gave me an allowance, I had no chores, and she even stopped yelling at me. I got a call from an unknown number one day. It was Mom. "Listen, honey, I know we got off on the wrong foot the other day. I wanted to get to know you better. Meet me for lunch?" I really did want to get to know her better, so I agreed. I told her to meet me at the cafe after my shift. The next day, while I was still working, I saw my mom talking to some young guy. He was my English teacher. Oh, this man outside just snatched my purse. I'd take it.
English teacher? Man, your mom is seriously in love with rich guys.
Some money from the bank as she sobbed on his shoulder while he hugged her awkwardly. I saw her hand go into his coat pocket. She deftly took out his credit card and slipped the wallet back in. After he left, she walked up to me, ready.
What? Your mama here robbing out? And she is serious. Oh my god. That's how your mom makes money to take care of her twin sister.
For lunch? Let's go grab some sushi. My treat. I couldn't wait to tell Sean about how weird Mom was. When he came, though, he looked annoyed and distant. I asked him what was wrong. "I want to break up. I've met someone new, and she's pretty cool. I just came to tell you that we're over." I felt so heartbroken. I thought Sean was better than that. Feeling really depressed, I called Suzanne and asked if I could come over. Mom was lying on the couch while Suzanne cooked her dinner. "Oh, good, you're here. Why don't you help your sister? She's probably really tired after her second job shift." I almost felt angry at Suzanne for pampering Mom so much. I wonder if she knew Mommy Dearest was also a thief. As I was about to go sit down at the table, my mom stopped me. No. That's my place. Sit somewhere else." Geez, was she 2 years old? Suzanne brought the food and joined us. "So, Julia, what were you so upset about?" I was all ready to pour my heart out, but Mom suddenly started with a story of how horrible her day had been because her tattoo artist had tattooed the wrong butterfly on her arm. Just then, a car honked outside.
Man, his must have the cataract, or he really love beards or whatever that is, because that does not have very nothing like a butterfly. Doesn't have the antenna looking things, nothing. Man, I don't know what her tattoo artist was doing, but he saw her did a butterfly.
Mom squealed, picked up her bag, and was out the door. I saw her get into a flashy car with some guy and drive off. A few days later, she walked into the cafe. "Buy me a coffee, why don't you?" I walked to her table with her order. "Where's my muffin?" Suzanne never forgets. This woman was just too much. She was waiting around till the end of my shift, and I wondered what she wanted from me. She said she'd drop me at home. "I'm really curious to meet this stepmom of yours." I don't think it's a good idea. Things had been so much better at home lately. I didn't want to ruin the peace. "You think too much, Julia. Hurry up now." We walked into the lounge and I cleared my throat. This is my mom. I just recently found out that she and my twin sister live across town. Stepmom's reaction completely shocked me. "That's marvelous, honey. I'm so happy you finally found your family. There's nothing more important." And she gave me a hug. Then she turned to my mom. "Why don't you stay with us for a few days? I'm sure Julia would like to spend quality time with you." All this sickly sweet acting was killing me. And to my horror, Mom accepted it and came back with her bags within an hour. A few few days later, I needed to work on a family tree project, so I decided to go through some old albums in the attic. I came across an album from Dad's college days. As I flipped through it, I suddenly stopped short. I knew Dad had met my mom in college, but why was my stepmom standing in the middle? And why had Mom and Stepmom pretended not to know each other? I quickly went down. I had so many questions. I didn't see them anywhere, but I heard some low
Best
voices
friends.
as I passed by my stepmom's room. I peeked in and almost passed out. My mom and my stepmom were kissing. Oh, I can't wait to go on a beach vacation with you. As soon as we get both the girls' signatures for their trust fund, we'll have to give them some kind of allowance, of course. Of course,
Kissing?
we aren't complete monsters. We've actually reunited the sisters. Aw, and finally, we can be together. You broke my heart when you married him. He and I reconnected many years after you left him. I was lonely, but of course, I never loved him like I loved you. Well, at least by the time you married him, he was really rich. It was all a setup. I knew my stepmom was evil, but my own mom, too. The next day, I went down when stepmom called me. I wasn't surprised to see Suzanne and Mom there, too. She got up and smiled at me. Your stepmom was just telling us that we could move in here with you. Look, we even signed a contract. My stepmom walked towards me with a piece of paper. We just need everyone's signatures. Drop this stupid act, you greedy witch. My stepmom flared up. How dare you talk to me like that, you ungrateful brat? Mom tried to calm her down, but she was on a roll. I kept her in this house, I sent her to that fancy school, and spent my money on your stupid kiddie parties and designer dresses. She looked startled, as if I'd slapped her. Then she saw the piece of paper in my hand. Yes, I found this in your study. Now that Suzanne and I were about to get our trust fund at 18, you decided to have us sign it over? You evil, evil woman. I turned to my mom. And you? You've never cared about us. You just follow the money no matter where it comes from. You're even okay with stealing from your own kids? Suzanne listened.
Although I'm not her kid or I don't know her, but it seems like your mom is a gold digger. Yeah. She really love the money, but sometimes you have to work for it.
In complete shock as I revealed their plans. Come live with me. You don't have to deal with Mom or put up with that stupid Emmett anymore. I kicked Mom and stepmom out of the house. At least give me some money for rent. Does this woman ever give up? For the first time in our lives, Suzanne and I were the cool kids. We had so many
Man, they look so alike. Like they're really twin sisters.
boys asking us out all the time, but my heart was set on Ryan. My friends looked down on him because he wasn't rich and was here on a scholarship. I knew how that felt, so I didn't let that stop me from dating him. He was such a babe. One day, I was sitting at the cafe when I heard, "Hey, gorgeous." I was shocked to see my ex-boyfriend, Sean. What are you doing here? I'm sorry, I was such a jerk. I've really missed you. Before I could say anything, Ryan walked over and stood in front of him. Get away from her, you creep. Make me. I was enjoying seeing them fight over me. Me! I grabbed Ryan's hand. Leave him alone. He's not worth it. A few days later,
Well, that's your fault. You broke the girl heart in plain clear sight, and then you miss her. The girl miss you too, but you have to get over relationships. That's nothing hard to do. So it's hard, but it takes time.
Suzanne decided to throw a huge party at home. She said she just started seeing someone and was excited for me to meet him. I nearly fell back in the pool when it was Sean. This guy
I was just going to see her own ex-boyfriend. I was just going to see her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend.
was a piece of work. It was so annoying that Sean was always at our place. It was like Suzanne had found a replacement for Mom. He had Suzanne doing everything for him, and they were spending money like crazy. He had her hosting huge parties for his friends every weekend. He was always ordering stuff for himself online using her credit card. One day, a flashy yellow convertible sped into the driveway. To my horror, Sean and Suzanne hopped out of it. Well, what do you think? It's so pretty. Sean kissed her on the cheek, and I'll take my pretty girlfriend everywhere in it. Wow, that must have cost a fortune. Your sister and her stupid boyfriend are going to blow all your money before you know it. I know. What do I do? You have to stop it. After all, You're the one who kicked out your stepmom. Suzanne would have been stupid enough to sign it all over. And you were your dad's favorite. This is your house, really. Suzanne walked into my room later that day, looking worried. Hey, can you call the bank and ask why my credit card isn't working? Oh, I already know why. I had it blocked. She looked furious. Why the hell would you do that? I'm not gonna have you and that idiot spend all of our money on stupid things. You're so dumb. You can't even see why Sean is with you. You're just jealous because he dumped you. I see the way you look.
No. Because Sean is using, no name, but the cat. Sean is using her sister for money and to get back closer to you. I think that's way.
Look at him. Yeah, I do look at him. With disgust. I don't want him to live here, and frankly, I don't want to live with you either. I'm going to talk to a lawyer, and we're going to divide the trust fund money. And after that, I want you and Sean out of here. Suzanne was acting out by ignoring me completely and not doing any of the house chores, while Sean was just sulking in some corner or the other and giving me murderous looks. I had to get rid of them both, soon. I was getting a bit worried about Ryan because I hadn't seen him or heard from him in a few days. When the bell rang, I ran to the door hoping it was him. Instead, I found a courier boy outside. You've been served, miss. Please sign here. I opened the letter with shaking hands and stared at it in shock. Ryan had sued me? Nothing I was reading made any sense. The letter said my dad had stolen his dad's idea for the app that had made him a millionaire, and he had proof? Immediately, I went over to Ryan's house and banged on the door. He came out, and a shiver went down my spine as he stared at me coldly. What's the meaning of all this? You want to know why you live in a mansion? Sweetie, your daddy is a thief who cheated his best friend out of his idea. My dad died a broken man. He never had the courage to fight his case, but I will. I have the proof I need from your dad's study, and I'm going to strip you of every penny you own. And that's exactly what he did. He won the lawsuit, and to pay the damages, I needed all of the money Dad had left me, and I had to sell the house. And now here I was, in an apartment smaller than what that loser Emmett owned, and I had to share it with Suzanne. And we both...
So you could have sold the house for much more money to buy a much decent house instead of this apartment.
had to work just to make rent. I felt miserable. It was the gloomiest Christmas morning, and I had woke up crying, thinking of my huge fireplace and our pretty tree. I heard the bell ring and dragged my feet to the door. There was a bright, nicely wrapped box outside. I was so excited to open it. Who could it be from? I lifted the lid and found an old, smelly shoe inside. It wasn't even a pair. I spotted an envelope and tore it open. Inside was a note and a photograph. The note read, "Merry Christmas, from our family to yours." I almost dropped the photo in shock. It was Mom and Stepmom and Ryan and another girl next to them. She looked just like me and Suzanne, and she was wearing the same necklace. We stared at each other, stunned. What could this possibly mean?
Triplets. Oh my god.